because you would rather wait for your benefits than get up off your ass and go work and get off of those. Ronald Reagan said it best. The success of welfare should be judged not by the amount of people on its roster rolls, but by how many people leave its doors. Welfare was supposed to be a hand up, not a hand out. And I find it so absolutely freaking ironic that everybody complaining about welfare benefits, they all won. They all voted Democrat.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Linda B. of The Linda B. Show. Thank you guys for joining me here today. SNAP benefits. What does it all mean for the family? That's what I'll be talking about today on The Linda B. Show. All right, everyone, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications, stick around to the end. Let's go. All right, so SNAP. Everyone's all over the internet because their SNAP benefits are going to be cut off or have been cut off, right? We already know that there is going to be a work requirement of 80 hours a month, okay, for people who want to continue to get benefits. And in a lot of cases, those benefits were greatly reduced. Now people aren't going to have their SNAP supposedly for the holidays. Now I have been getting some reports that people will be getting their SNAP, okay, for temporarily, but that does not mean they're going to get it for the month of November and beyond. So we've got a real situation for a lot of people, and we're going to just talk about this. And I've got some clips I want to share with you about men that are really going in on SNAP and people who are dependent on it. Because some people have a worker mentality and some people tend to have a government dependency mentality. So which is right? Government dependency or independence? Because if you know, a long time ago, those of our ancestors, there was no such thing as government dependency. And people were having a lot of children. And miraculously, no one went hungry. Okay, no one went hungry. They were making very little money and they had tons of children. So, why do we need this today? Is it really just a mindset? I'm going to let you listen to a couple of men and then I'll be right back.
Government dependency. For all y'all complaining, my SNAP benefits finna get cut off. I ain't finna have no food for Thanksgiving. You are literally just displaying the problem with the Great Society reforms of Lyndon Johnson. You are literally showing that some of us would rather be so dependent on the government. Some of us would rather be so dependent on the government where we get on the internet and bitch about the benefits we're not getting that are taxpayer funded, by the way, because you would rather wait for your benefits than get up off your ass and go work and get off of those. Ronald Reagan said it best. The success of welfare should be judged not by the amount of people on its roster rolls, but by how many people leave its doors. Welfare was supposed to be a hand up, not a hand out. And I find it so absolutely freaking ironic that everybody complaining about welfare benefits, they all won. They all voted Democrat. The Democratic establishment does the same thing over and over again. Give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. The fact of the matter is simply this. The Democratic Party is literally using that exact statement, using you guys that have those benefits as American families as leverage. That's what they're doing. The fact that we do not see the game being played on both sides is BS. 61 Republican senators just passed a resolution to reopen the government. All the Democrats cut it down, didn't want anything to do with it. This is why nobody needs to be beholden to a political party. You don't all need to vote red. We don't all need to vote blue. We need to vote based on who's going to do the best for me and you. You did.
I don't want to sound like I'm overthinking it because I know a lot of y'all can't keep up, but this SNAP benefit situation clearly shows y'all could not survive a world built off natural selection. If the government really stood back, if they just let everything go and let the world be who they want to be without them, y'all would not survive. Let's say they just only protected us from invasion of other countries, but you have to do everything else yourself. Y'all would not survive the natural selection. You couldn't get your own food. You couldn't keep your own crib. You couldn't educate your own kids. Y'all would literally not survive a world of natural selection. Y'all response to the SNAP benefits is don't celebrate the holiday. keep your money. Everyone's gonna be affected because food prices gonna go up. Yeah, but this is natural selection. This is how the world moves. Without the government, right? What y'all gonna do when all those wolves start attacking the sheeps? You either gonna turn into a wolf yourself, you gonna follow behind them like a fox, or you gonna be slaughtered. That's how natural selection works. And there's one issue with just benefits. It's showing y'all that y'all are biting the hand that feeds you. A lot of y'all are against the government. You constantly protesting. You constantly talking about them. But then you turn to the same internet where you're bashing them and you're trying to hold them accountable to continue to feed you and put food on your table. They don't have to do that. This is them showing you we don't have to do a lot of the things we do. But they understand the benefits of who they are. And a lot of people take it for granted. You can't be biting the hand that feeds you and then turning around and talking shit about the person who that hand belonged to. It don't make any sense. Y'all have to pick a new battle. Pick a new fight.
All right, there you have it. Two young men talking about, yes, this whole situation with SNAP benefits, natural selection. Now, I got to say, what they're saying is we should not allow ourselves to be in a place of government dependency. And I realize there are people who need it. There are the disabled, there's the elderly and disabled veterans. I am not referring to those people. I am simply referring to those who have literally taken advantage of the system. They are able bodied, able minded, can simply easily work, but have chosen not to. Some have been on government assistance for more than 10 years, a very long time. Some a lot longer than that. Okay, so what does this say about people who have never really gotten out of the situation, who have kind of settled back and let the government take care of them? That's coming out of taxpayer dollars. It's coming out of my taxpayer money to feed some of you who are like, oh, they're going to take my SNAP. They're going to take this. They're going to take that. What am I supposed to do? Do like a lot of us do. Well, I am not saying this as a flex, but I've never been on it. I don't know what the future holds, but I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. We went to work. We worked very, very, very hard. We had a sense of pride in our work. And we farmed. My grandparents on my mother's side were farmers, and my uncles grew up to be construction men. My mother has her own business. My husband's family has their own business. So we're entrepreneurial, okay, and not really on any government assistance, really, okay. But I get it. Some people need it. But should you just sit back and relax and be on it for a long period of time? Because at some point you got to realize it could end. And a lot of you, just like one of the young men said, you talk bad about your own country, but you need the same country to feed you. Coming out of taxpayer money, the ones of us that are working are paying for you to sit at home. So I've seen a lot of videos with Black men, and Black men are actually celebrating the fact of this being ended. They don't want SNAP to be back. They don't want it. They are liking this. No SNAP benefits, no EBT. One guy is like, oh, you're not going to get your SNAP anymore. Oh, no, you got to go back to Tyrone. He said that you got to go back to Tyrone. You have to go back and work it out with the father of your children. Because honestly, the way I feel about it, welfare, it decimated the Black family. And the Black family might actually heal. It might not, but I'm hoping something good comes out of this. Because remember, you want someone to show you how to fish so you can eat for a lifetime, not give you a fish. So you have to keep coming back over and over and over again. A lot of this government dependency is enabling people not to succeed, not to excel, not to be the best version of themselves. There was a sense of pride years and years ago, and this was way before any affirmative action, way, way before DEI. And our children never went hungry. So we have to stop looking at ourselves like we're slaves, like we got to go back to massa and give us a piece of bread. How am I going to eat? The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. And the first thing that comes to our minds should not be to steal. No, there are food pantries, there are churches, there are relatives and loved ones. And also, you may not be able to eat T-bone or ribeyes and lobster tails. You may have to get you some soup and some cornbread, grits, some rice, get you a whole rotisserie chicken, make it do what it do. Okay. There's a woman around on the internet showing people how to shop. She's at Walmart. She's saying it does not have to be the name brand. It can be the store brand. See, we've gotten very, very spoiled in this country, entitled. You're supposed to pay for me not to be able to work, and I'm supposed to get all this money for SNAP and Section 8 and everything else while you're sporting your tarantula eyelashes and your lace front. And anytime there's a concert in town, you're there. So a lot of us, not me personally, but a lot of you out there have been abusing the system, and you know you have. Now you're being called to be an adult. Okay, so women, the government is not your baby daddy. He's not the father of your children. So now, under President Trump, I am hoping this continues, that the government does not incentivize women to get rid of the men in their lives. Stay with Tyrone, Hakeem, Brad, or Chad and work it out. It's for the betterment of the children. This could actually be a blessing in disguise. Don't forget that the Black family was intact prior to the mid 1960s. Oh, yeah. It was like over, I want to say 75% or so of Black children grew up in a two-parent home. Now, oh my gosh, it's like 25% are in a two-parent home. And you know the statistics on getting in trouble in gangs, getting in trouble with, teen pregnancy, drugs, criminal behavior, behavioral problems, not graduating high school, having a criminal record, so forth and so forth. That is the problem. And the welfare state helped to dismantle the Black family. So instead of us complaining about SNAP benefits and, oh, he's such a bad president, I don't want to get political, but I will explain that the Democrats are the ones that have literally held the entire country hostage. This is not a political channel, but if I'm being accurate with my information, it takes 60 votes in the Senate to pass a spending bill to keep the government open. All the Republicans voted yes to keep the government open, but it takes 60 votes. There are only 53 Republicans. So there needed to be some Democrats to come along with that. But the Democrats said, oh no, we'll lose our leverage if we agree to this continuing resolution as it is, because there are some things that the Democrats want that President Trump does not want to give them. One of them is Medicaid to illegals. Another is, these gender reaffirming surgeries and other types of things that really are of no interest to the average, sane, common sense person. No interest whatsoever. So I want you all to remember that. And these are the people that you all, most Black folks, particularly Black women, 92%, vote a certain way. And these are the same people keeping our families apart. So let us just think about that and do research and educate ourselves on what is really going on. Tell me what you all think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, comment, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You all be blessed, and until next time.